I am finally ready to announce all of the Oscar nominations. I, a film student, have taken it upon myself to make a fair Oscars nominations list, at least to the best of my abilities. So just for the record, all of the movies that I have listed I have seen, except for a couple where I have asked friends of mine to help. We are going to start off strong with the Best Picture category. I have The Iron Claw. I really enjoyed this movie, even though I don't know much about wrestling, but I think that it honestly blew me away a lot more than I expected. I mean, it was a big movie that I had been anticipating for months prior to it. The next movie on this nomination list is The Holdovers. Well, it's one of those movies that it feels like it's a Christmas movie, but you could honestly watch it any other time of the year. It felt very Good Will Hunting to me. It's such a fun movie. It holds such a special place in my heart. And next on the nomination list is Saltburn. It's a really interesting movie because it takes a different The Rich type, where we had a lot of those last year in 2022. I mean, we had The Menu. I mean, that was a good one. We had Triangle of Sadness, and there are a couple more that are blanking my mind at the moment, but it was a very big theme last year. But this one really subverts your expectations, and to me, it feels very reminiscent of Parasite, and they're both rather incomparable to a degree. Anyway, next up on my list is Asteroid City. I really enjoyed this one, and I wouldn't say that it's Wes Anderson's best work. I still enjoy Fantastic Mr. Fox the most out of all of his movies. And of course, it's Wes Anderson. It's a very visually striking movie, but I really like the themes of grief, loneliness, and the overall human experience. That one's a really good watch if you haven't seen it. And the last nomination in this category is How to Blow Up a Pipeline. This movie was really slept on. I urge more people to watch it. It is a neon movie, and if you don't know anything about neon, they're very similar to A24. Though in my opinion, I think neon is better. Honestly, it just creates this really interesting feeling of uncertainty in our future, and it really makes us root for all 8 of the main characters the entire way. And next up is the Best Leading Actor. I struggle with this category because I am not a director nor an actor, and I can't really tell you what qualifies a good actor. I just tried to go with a gut feeling of what I thought were really good performances that have stuck with me throughout the year. First on the nomination list is Zac Efron in The Iron Claw. I really liked his performance, especially in the end scene. Zac Efron has always been a really good actor, and I think that now is finally the time that he gets his flowers. Next up is Paul Giamatti in The Holdovers, and Dominic Sessa in The Holdovers as well. Now, I have a hard time with this one because I have 2 actors in the same movie going for Best Actor, and when you watch The Holdovers, it's hard to discern which actor's story it is, because we follow Dominic in the beginning, but then we follow Paul more towards the end. So in my mind, they were just both lead actors, and that's why I put them both in this category. And next in this nomination is Jay Baruchel in Blackberry. I really enjoyed this one. Blackberry was such an underrated film, and it had no business being as funny as it was, especially for a biopic. In my opinion, one of the best biopics I've ever seen. Next on the list is Barry Keoghan in Saltburn, and he had a really good performance. Barry Keoghan just does a really good job at playing little freaks. He had a similar role in The Killing of a Sacred Deer, and I also really enjoyed that one. Granted, I haven't seen it since it came out, so I probably need to rewatch it, but Barry Keoghan does a really good job in Saltburn as well. Now, the Best Leading Actress category, this one was difficult for me because we have had a lot of good performances this year, honestly. To start this off, we have Lily Gladstone in Killers of the Flower Moon. Really don't know how to explain it, but I think that her performance was just so captivating. Next on the list is Emma Stone in Poor Things. This one is really good. it was so fun to see her in a different role than what I've typically seen her in. Next up is Natalie Portman in May December. I have not seen this movie and I can't really give you anything specific in regards to her performance, but my friend actually recommended that I put her in this nomination list as well. The next nomination I have this in this category is Florence Pugh in A Good Person, and the last nomination in this category is Sandra Huller in Anatomy of a Fall. Now, moving on to the Best Supporting Actor category, I have Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things. I specifically chose this one because I really enjoyed watching Mark Ruffalo in a project that wasn't Marvel related. I mean, I don't think I've seen him in anything else other than The Hulk. I liked seeing him in a more stylized setting, and I liked seeing him perform something different than what I've seen him do. The next supporting actor on this list is Ryan Gosling in Barbie. Now, I feel like I'm obligated to put him there. He did give a good performance, I'm not denying that, but I don't know if he was the best supporting actor. Glenn Howerton in Blackberry. This is another really good one, a really fun one, and still an incredibly underrated movie. You guys should definitely go watch that one. I enjoyed it a lot. Harris Dickinson in The Iron Claw. I really enjoyed seeing Zac Efron interact with him in this movie. It really did feel like they were siblings. Next is Bill Skarsgård in John Wick 4, but I really enjoyed his performance, and maybe it's not his performance. I just really enjoy Bill Skarsgård. Next is the Best Supporting Actress category. We have Emily Blunt in Oppenheimer, Divine Joy Randolph in The Holdovers, Danielle Brooks in The Color Purple, Florence Pugh in The Boy and the Heron. I did not watch this movie in the English dubbed version, so I can't really attest to Florence's performance in this. I guess you're just gonna have to trust my friend. And last actress in this category is Alyssa Sutherland in Evil Dead Rise. Now that I've listed all of the best supporting actresses, I can already hear some of you guys in the comments. I did not include America Ferrera. It's not because she didn't have a great performance in Barbie. However, the thing about it that is getting me is that the only notable part of her performance was the monologue. That is the only thing people talk about, and it's not like it was a bad monologue. I think it starts an important conversation that needs to be talked about. Alright, we are going to continue on. Unfortunately, my other camera died. Next up is the Best Director category. Starting off with Ari Aster, who did Beau's Afraid. Other people didn't enjoy this movie nearly as much as other Ari Aster movies, which I understand because, for one, it's 3 hours, and that's really long, and two, the entire movie just felt like a fever dream. He just had really good direction with the actors, I think, and just really good direction with the story and production design, and the overall vision he had really felt like it was his. Next up, we have Wes Anderson, who did Asteroid City. Emerald Fennell, who did Saltburn. This is another movie where I can see the director's vision. I can see what she was going for. And to me, that just automatically puts her in this category. We also have Greta Gerwig, who did Barbie. And last on the nomination list is Daniel Goldhaber for How to Blow Up a Pipeline. Next up is Best Original Screenplay. We first have Flora and Son. Something about the script of this movie was incredibly well done, and I don't know how to explain it. Next up is Saltburn, and we also have Asteroid City and Past Lives. And last in this nomination category is Infinity Pool. It's not everyone's cup of tea though, and I completely understand that, but I know that I needed to put this movie in a nomination somewhere. Next up, we have the Best Adapted Screenplay. We have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I haven't watched anything TNMT at all, but this one was a lot of fun. How to Blow Up a Pipeline. Now, I haven't read the book, so I don't know how good the adaptation actually is, but I decided to put it in anyway. Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon. And last in this category is Priscilla. This movie was actually produced by Priscilla Presley herself, so I think if that doesn't speak volumes, then what else does? Best cinematography category. I have Poor Things, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, How to Blow Up a Pipeline, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. The next category is Best Production Design. I have Saltburn listed for the first one, Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, followed by Asteroid City, and lastly, Beau's Afraid. The next category is Best Editing. We have Poor Things, Killers of the Flower Moon, The Holdovers, Asteroid City, and Saltburn. I didn't know how to nominate this category because I don't really know what best editing means to me, and what kind of qualified these movies is the pacing and rhythm of it. Only one of the movies in this list is a whole 3 hours long, and it's Killers of the Flower Moon. But I think that every second of screen time was utilized properly. There was never a moment in that movie where I felt like anything needed to be cut out. Back into it, we have the Best Original Score category. Joe Hisahi, who scored Boy and the Heron. Next is Daniel Pemberton, who scored Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Jerskin Fendrix, who scored Poor Things. Ludwig Göransson, who scored Oppenheimer. I am so sorry if I butchered any of their names. I had a really hard time trying to find movies where I felt that the scores were memorable enough for me to nominate them. The actual Oscar nominations are interesting. One of them was American Fiction. I do not remember that score at all, so it made me confused on why that was even a nomination in the first place. For Best Costume Design, I have Barbie, Priscilla, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. The next category is Best Makeup and Hairstyling, and the nominations are Barbie, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Wonka, The Color Purple, and Priscilla. For the Best Sound Editing category, Zone of Interest, Oppenheimer, no surprise there, Godzilla Minus One, and Suzume. The Best Visual Effects category, Godzilla Minus One, Oppenheimer, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Divinity, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. The most notable one in this category is Divinity. This is another hidden gem, and I absolutely loved it. And next is the Best International Feature Film category. Monster, Society of the Snow, Perfect Days, Godzilla Minus One, and Zone of Interest. These are all great movies, and honestly, I don't know that I have much to say about any of them, only for the reason that a lot of people don't watch the international feature category, at least that I'm aware of. Next category is Best Animated Feature Film. Oh my goodness, guys, we have had so many amazing animated movies this year, so I am happy to nominate The Boy and the Heron, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Robot Dreams, and The Peasants. And I feel like I should give honorable mentions for this category because there were a lot more animated movies that I enjoyed this year. So the honorable mentions are Trolls Band Together, Nimona, and Elemental. The only one in particular on the nomination list is Robot Dreams. That is not released yet, but that one is also fantastic. One unique thing about this movie, though, is that there's no dialogue. I think that you guys will really enjoy it when it comes out. Next up is the Best Animated Short Film. This is the only category where I didn't handpick anything from it. Letter to a Pig, 95 Senses, Our Uniform, Pachydermy, War is Over. All of these short films were fantastic. If any of you get the opportunity to watch them, please watch them. For the Best Live Action Short Film, The Swan, Poison, Strange Way of Life, Red, White, and Blue, and Invincible. I know that two of them are Wes Anderson, but I didn't like some of the other live action short films from the Oscars. So the next category is Best Action Film instead of Best Documentary Feature Film. And I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I haven't seen any of those movies on the Oscars. So, to start off, we have Dungeons and Dragons, John Wick 4, Keanu Reeves. We all know. Also, Bill Skarsgård. Next is Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. The next category is Best Horror Film. This is replaced by the Best Documentary Short Films, another category I haven't seen any of the nominations for, so I decided to go with horror films instead. And this category in particular is important to me because I think that the Oscars has been snubbing horror movies. For example, I don't remember if Nope was nominated for anything last year, but the fact that it didn't get a Best Picture nomination really irked me because that movie was fantastic and it deserved to get some nominations. To start us off in this category, we have Skinamarink. This is such a special movie, you guys. Theaters are not ready for movies like this, and it is the most divisive movie I have ever seen in my life. People have good things to say about it, or they have bad things to say about it. Not a single person I have seen on the internet or in real life is lukewarm about it at all. Next up is Infinity Pool. Another great one. Such a good movie. Please watch it. And Saw X. I watched the Saw franchise a couple years ago at this point, and I really enjoyed every single one of those movies, for the most part. Saw X was different though. I liked the direction they went with it because it is in between, I think, Saw 2 and Saw 3. I really liked that we got more from John Kramer as a character. Next up is Scream 6. I haven't really seen the rest of the Scream franchise, so I can't give my honest opinion on this. I saw the first 2 Scream movies and I enjoyed them. Last is Evil Dead Rise. Another great one. I just watched most of the Evil Dead series. I haven't watched all of them. Now, these last 2 categories I decided to create because I think that they're really funny, and that is the middest feature. In other words, movies that were just mid. I have, to start us off, Migration, The Last Voyage of the Demeter, The Creator, Anyone But You, and The Little Mermaid. I know I'm going to ruffle some feathers with that one because people really enjoyed The Creator and people really enjoyed Anyone But You, at least casually, which I understand. But, I mean, come on, guys. Let's be real. Those movies are all mid. And for the last and final category, I have Worst Feature Film. Oh my gosh, you guys. We're gonna start this off so strong with Wish, House Party, Missing, The Amazing Maurice, and Fear. None of those movies were that good, you guys. Oh, but alright, you guys. This has been my personal Oscar nominations video. I know it was a lot to go through, and I am sure that you all have your own opinions that you can share in the comments down below, and I want to hear them because in my next video I will be opening all of these envelopes and I am going to tell you what I think should win each category. Some of you guys are going to be upset, and that's okay.